Look, if you're here right now, it's probably because you've been living inside your own head for too long. You know what I'm talking about, right? That endless cycle of replaying the past, trying to predict the future, analyzing every little detail until your mind becomes a battlefield you can't escape. And man, you know exactly how exhausting that is. We think that thinking more will somehow protect us, but the brutal truth is this: an uncontrolled mind is the source of most of your suffering. Seneca warned us a long time ago. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. You're not suffering because of life itself. You're suffering because of the story your mind keeps telling you about life. And if you're finally ready to break that cycle, ready to get out of the noise inside your head and return to the peace of the present moment, then this video is for you. Today, we're going to walk together through 7 Stoic principles that will help you stop living in your head and start living in peace again. Before we continue, let me tell you something. This channel exists for people like you and me who are tired of being held hostage by our own minds. If you want more content like this that truly changes the way you live, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because what comes next will completely transform your relationship with your own thoughts. Your mind creates most of your suffering, and look, overthinking doesn't present itself as a problem. It appears silently, disguised as caution, responsibility, or preparation. It convinces you that if you analyze just a little more, you will finally feel safe. That if you repeat that moment one more time, you will find clarity. If you predict every possible outcome, nothing will surprise you. But the truth is the opposite. The more time you spend living inside your head, the further you move away from peace. Stoicism begins with a truth that is both brutal and liberating. Most of your suffering doesn't come from the world. It comes from the way your mind interprets the world. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And if you're honest, you'll see exactly how true that is in your own life. Think about how many times your mind has hurt you with things that never happened. You replay old conversations, convinced you said the wrong thing. You imagine worst-case scenarios, even when nothing is wrong. You assume people are judging you, even if they haven't said a word. Your mind creates storms that the real world never sent. That's why overthinking is so dangerous, not because thoughts are harmful in themselves, but because an undisciplined mind ties those thoughts to fear, shame, insecurity, and false meaning. Neutral moments become threats, silence becomes rejection, uncertainty becomes disaster. Your mind starts writing stories faster than you can question them.
For the Stoics, the mind is not a place to get lost. It is a tool to be mastered. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Today I escaped anxiety." Or, "No, I discarded it because it was inside me, in my own perceptions, not out there." This phrase reveals the central insight of Stoicism. Anxiety is not what happens to you, but what you do with what happens to you. Overthinking is simply a reaction, and reactions can be trained. 2 main patterns trap you inside your head. One is repeating the past, torturing yourself with moments you cannot change. The other is pre-living the future, suffering in advance for things that haven't even happened. Both steal your peace. Both disconnect you from the present moment, and both are illusions. The way out begins with awareness. When a thought appears, don't blindly follow it. Stop. Name it. Tell yourself, this is just a thought, not a fact. That single moment of distance weakens the entire chain reaction. Once you see the story your mind is trying to construct, you are no longer trapped within it. Overthinking survives through momentum. If you slow down, it loses its power. Peace doesn't come from having fewer thoughts. It comes from refusing to let each thought become a threat. When you stop feeding your fears, they stop growing. And this is the first great Stoic truth about overthinking. You are suffering much more from your mind than from your life. Once you understand this, you finally gain the power to stop hurting yourself with your own thoughts. That's where freedom begins. There is only one place in the entire universe where peace can exist: the present moment. Not the past you keep replaying, not the future you keep predicting, but exactly this breath, exactly this second, this piece of reality happening right now. And yet, the present is the place the overthinking mind most avoids. Overthinking pulls you out of the only place where life truly unfolds. You relive moments that are gone, or suffer for moments that haven't even arrived. You engage in internal discussions that never happened. You write mental scripts that no one will read, and punish yourself for scenarios that exist only in your imagination. This is the tragedy of overthinking. Your body is here, but your mind is everywhere else. Stoicism teaches the opposite approach. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." A simple phrase, but one of the most profound pieces of wisdom ever written. When you look at your stress, your anxiety, your emotional storms, you will notice that almost all of them come from leaving the present moment. You worry about the email you didn't receive. You imagine how someone might react. You repeat the look someone gave you earlier. None of these things are happening now. The present moment has an extraordinary characteristic. It is almost always manageable. The next 60 seconds rarely overwhelm you. What overwhelms you is everything your mind piles on to those 60 seconds. Memories, predictions, assumptions, fears. When you remove the mental noise, the present becomes simple again. Think about how you feel when you're driving home and suddenly realize you were lost in thought the whole time. You don't remember the road, the scenery, the wind, the engine. You were mentally somewhere else. That's how many people live their entire lives, half present, half distracted, half alive.
Stoicism invites you back to your own existence. When you overthink, your breathing becomes shallow, your muscles tense up, your senses become dulled. But when you return to the present, everything changes. You breathe more deeply, you see more clearly, your shoulders relax, your mind stops racing because it is finally anchored in something real. The Stoics believed that mastery of life begins with mastery of the present moment. Action only happens here. Change only begins here. Peace only exists here. Worry is useless because it is always about something outside of this moment, and therefore outside of your control. So how do you return to the present? You use your senses. You bring your awareness out of your head and into your body. You notice what you see, hear, feel, or smell. Ask yourself a simple question. What is happening now? Not in your imagination, not in your fear, but in reality. The present moment is small, but it is powerful. Within it, you are safe. Within it, you are not being judged. Within it, no disaster is occurring. And when thoughts try to drag you away again, gently bring yourself back in the same way you would guide a child back to the right path. Overthinking cannot survive in the present moment. It needs the past or the future to exist. So every time you choose to return to the now, you are choosing peace over illusion. You are reclaiming your life one breath at a time. One of the most liberating truths of Stoic philosophy is this: you are not responsible for the thoughts that appear in your mind, only for those you choose to entertain. Thoughts come and go like passing weather, but when you treat each thought as truth, you give each one the power to shape your emotions, your behavior, and eventually your entire life. Most people believe that overthinking comes from overthinking, but that's not accurate. Overthinking comes from overbelieving. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every fear deserves your energy. Not every mental story deserves to be followed.
Stoicism teaches that thoughts arise automatically. They come from habit, memory, instinct, emotion, or past conditioning. You can't stop a thought from appearing any more than you can stop a cloud from forming in the sky. But you can choose whether you're going to look at that cloud, fear it, analyze it, and build a whole story around it, or simply let it pass. Epictetus captured this perfectly when he said, "It is not things in themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them." A thought is harmless until you label it, feed it, and let it take root. Once you assign meaning to it, this thought must mean something about me. This is a sign. I need to fix this. You give it life.
Overthinking is simply an untrained instinct to overfeed certain thoughts. Imagine your mind is a field. Each thought is a seed. Some seeds grow into strength, clarity, and peace. Others grow into fear, worry, and chaos. You can't always choose which seeds fall into your field, but you absolutely control which ones you water. Overthinkers water every seed, especially the poisonous ones. A colleague didn't respond. They must be upset with me. Someone looked away. I said something wrong. You made a small mistake. Everything will fall apart. These thoughts arise automatically, but the suffering begins when you start feeding them extra stories, assumptions, and what-ifs. The Stoic practice is simple yet powerful. Pause, label the thought, and refuse to add extra meaning. When a negative thought appears, tell yourself, that's just a thought, not a fact. That single sentence breaks the spell. It puts distance between you and the story your mind is trying to tell. Suddenly, the thought loses its authority. It becomes something you observe instead of something you obey. Overthinking thrives on panic, urgency, and emotional reaction. But when you slow down and analyze the thought clearly, it loses its power. You can ask, is this true? Is this helpful? Is this under my control? Most thoughts will crumble under these three questions. You may not be able to stop thoughts from arising, no human can, but you can become incredibly disciplined about how you respond to them. When you stop feeding your fears, they starve. When you stop reacting automatically, your mind becomes calmer. When you stop believing every thought, you regain control of your inner world. A tranquil mind is not a mind without thoughts. It is a mind that has learned to stop nurturing the ones that cause harm. Man, if you've made it this far, you've already understood more about your own mind than most people will understand in their entire lives. And this is just the beginning. If you want to continue this journey of self-discovery and mental mastery, subscribe to the channel now, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something that will completely change the way you deal with anxiety. Don't miss it. When you live too much in your head, your mind gets loud and your body gets quiet. You disconnect from the physical world and sink deeper into the world of thoughts, fears, and imagined scenarios. Overthinking doesn't just happen in the mind, it happens because the mind isolates itself from the body. And when that connection breaks, anxiety grows. Stoicism understood something that modern psychology continues to rediscover. The quickest way out of your head is through your body. The body is an anchor. It pulls you back to reality. It grounds you in the present moment. It interrupts the mental storm before it grows and becomes overwhelming. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself to return to the body, to remain rooted in physical action instead of drifting into fantasy or fear. He knew that a grounded body stabilizes the mind in the same way that a firm foundation stabilizes a building. Think about what happens when you're caught in a spiral of overthinking. Your breathing becomes shallow, your shoulders tense, your hands tremble slightly, your heart beats faster. These aren't mental symptoms, they're physical signs. Your body has been swept up in the storm your mind has created. But the good news is this: if your mind can affect your body, then then your body can also affect your mind. When you reconnect with your physical senses, the mind calms down. When you breathe deeply, the nervous system calms down. When you move your body, the mental fog begins to dissipate.
That's why the Stoics valued physical discipline. It was never just about strength. It was about clarity. One of the simplest yet most effective Stoic tools is intentional breathing. A mind racing at 100 miles an hour cannot survive a body breathing at a calm, steady pace. The moment you change your breathing, you change your state. Try this pattern. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 2, exhale for 6. A longer exhale signals safety to the brain. In a minute or two, your thoughts slow down on their own. Another powerful method is exposure to cold. The Stoics practiced forms of voluntary discomfort, cold water, cold air, simple clothing, not to punish yourself, but to train the mind to remain steady under stress. When cold water touches your skin, your mind's chatter instantly shuts off. Your consciousness returns to your breath, your heartbeat, your body. You are no longer imagining disaster, you are fully present. Movement is another escape from overthinking. A short walk, especially outdoors, resets your sensory system. When your eyes focus on your surroundings instead of the images inside your head, the brain switches from threat mode to exploration mode. Even 5 minutes of slow walking can interrupt an anxious spiral. This is the essence of the Stoic somatic method. If you can't control the storm in your mind, move your body until the storm calms down on its own. Your body is not just a vessel, it is your ally. It is the exit door from destructive thoughts and back to reality. When the mind becomes a labyrinth, the body becomes the exit. When you return to your senses, you return to your life. Most people don't suffer because of what is happening. They suffer because of what has already happened or what they fear might happen next. Overthinking traps you in 2 mental prisons, the prison of repeating the past and the prison of pre-living the future. Both destroy your peace, both disconnect you from reality, and both can only survive when you abandon the present moment. Let's start with the past. Repeating memories seems productive, as if analyzing the moment again and again would change something, fix something, or reveal something. But it doesn't change anything. The past is immobile, immutable, sealed. Every second you spend repeating it is a second stolen from the life you could be living now. Stoicism reminds us, what's done is done. The only question that remains is how you will answer today. However, the mind loves to drag you back. It repeats the mistake you made, the words you wish you had said, the tone someone used, the look someone gave you. It repeats your failures, your embarrassments, your regrets. It convinces you that if you analyze it one more time, you will finally feel better. But each repetition deepens the wound. You are not healing, you are reopening the same cut again and again.
Now, consider the future. Pre-living disasters is one of the mind's cruelest tricks. You imagine worst-case scenarios that have no evidence. You build stories around events that didn't happen. You let fear narrate your future as if it were fact. This drains your energy, your confidence, your hope. You begin to suffer for what is not real. Seneca said, "He suffers more than necessary who suffers before it is necessary." In other words, the pain you feel is not from the future, it is from your imagination of the future. Think about how many times you've lived something terrible in your mind, only to realize that none of it happened. You worried about a meeting and it went well. You feared someone was upset and they weren't. You imagined a conversation that never happened. You predicted a failure that never came.
Overthinking turns you into a time traveler, but not in a good way. You keep stepping on timelines that don't exist, punishing yourself with futures that may never come. The Stoics believed that the past and the future are thieves. The past steals your peace, the future steals your courage. The only safe place is the present, because it's the only place where you have influence. So, how do you escape this double prison? You create a boundary in time. Allow yourself to stop carrying moments that are no longer yours. Allow yourself to stop suffering over moments that haven't arrived. Try this simple practice. If the thought is about the past, ask, "Can I change this?" If the answer is no, release it. If the thought is about the future, ask, "Is this happening now?" If the answer is no, let it go. Every time you pull yourself out of yesterday and tomorrow, you reclaim a piece of your life. Peace doesn't come from fixing the past or controlling the future. Peace comes from refusing to let them possess you. Your mind is a storyteller and is skilled at creating narratives that seem true even when they aren't. Overthinking intensifies this narrative until you can no longer separate reality from imagination. You start to believe every anxious thought, every frightening prediction, every inner critic. But Stoicism teaches a liberating truth. Your thoughts are not facts. They are possibilities, and most possibilities are wrong. One of the biggest mistakes an overthinker makes is assuming that if a thought seems real, it must be real. But feelings are not evidence. Emotional intensity does not equal truth. A thought can seem terrifying, overwhelming, or compelling and still be completely inaccurate. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology. They taught that human beings suffer because we never pause to question the stories our minds create. We let fear narrate our future, insecurity narrate our identity, and past wounds narrate our worth. Without awareness, these narratives shape our entire lives. Think about the kinds of stories your mind creates. They're probably judging me. I'm not good enough. Something bad is going to happen. They must be upset with me. I'll fail if I try. None of these are facts. They are interpretations. Spontaneous, emotional, biased interpretations, and yet you treat them as truths simply because they appeared in your mind.
Look, if this video changed something in you, if you finally understood that peace is not an accident, but a daily choice, then I need you to do something for me now. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Because this message saves lives, and maybe you will be the person who will make a difference in someone's life today. Stoicism gives you back the power you forgot you had, the power to choose your response, to question your thoughts, to return to the present, to build a mind that serves you instead of hurting you. So choose a practice today, a breath, a ritual, a step back into your life. And remember, peace begins the moment you decide to stop suffering in your own mind.